and welcome to the Business Hour podcast. My name is Jimi. But before we get into today's discussion, here's your business tip for the day. And it says, a goal without timelines is simply a dream. That is by Robert Hajavec, a Canadian businessman. Well, our focus today is the tourism sector. As I'm sure you're well aware, this is one of the sectors that has been worst hit by the coronavirus. And just going by some of the reports that have been provided, we understand that the sector has lost about 80 billion shillings worth of revenue. And first of all, Jimi, thank you so much for taking the time to come and speak to us. This is an honor and a privilege, and we're really glad that we can get to go into this discussion with you. Karibu sana to the program.
Thank you for the opportunity, Jimi. Thank you.
All right. Now, one of the things that we want to understand, first of all, from where you sit as a practitioner and someone in this sector, what is the sector like? What is the landscape of the sector as it is right now?
Yeah, we have been very hard hit, the tourism sector globally. And so Kenya has not been spared. For organizations like Sarova, we've not been spared. So it's been a very challenging time for the last 3 months or so.
Okay.
Our businesses have been shut, so we've been earning no revenue. We've been burning a lot of cash because we've made commitments, particularly around protecting jobs and protecting wages. When our properties are closed, they're not closed as in, lock the door and leave. We have a small team that's there.
Yeah.
We need a team there to make sure that they are keeping the product alive and fresh for the restart. We have security there as well. So we've been burning a lot of cash, just trying to meet our operational costs.
All right.
With zero inflows.
All right, let's talk about the fact that you actually mentioned this, and actually that was my next question with regards to what would you say that the last 4 months Sarova has lost in terms of revenue, in terms of the amount of money that you're spending but you're not getting back?
I think, as I said, we've had zero revenue.
Okay.
This year we had expected it to be a great year for the destination, which means our businesses would have also benefited from that.
Yeah.
So, we've lost millions, but what is important for us is very much around the fact that we've been very committed to protecting jobs. We have very strong partnerships with our bankers. We have very strong partnerships with our suppliers.
Yeah.
So we have been able to survive, and we're still very much in survival mode despite those losses. So for us, we take those losses as very much a part of making sure that we protect those millions of jobs that are dependent on a healthy tourism sector.
Yeah, I was actually hoping for a number, but that's okay. Mm-hmm. So maybe, Jimi, one of the things that we have seen also in this hotel sector and the tourism sector at large, you've seen a number of hotels shutting down. But so far, in much as there's minimal activity, you guys are still afloat. What is the strategy behind this?
Well, we believe that, this situation that we're going through, it will come to an end. So we are very committed to the hospitality sector.
Yeah.
What we don't know is when it will come to an end. We have a very strong team. We have a great management team. We have a great operations team. And our board of directors has been very, very supportive. So we have been committed to staying in the space. We have been committed to protecting jobs and wages within our organization. And we are very committed to remaining in this space. And obviously, we have to adapt to the new realities that we are facing and that we're going to face. But we have been in the business for 46 years. And we are not about to shut down our business after 3 months of not operating.
Yeah, and I've noticed that you're very keen on this job protection strategy that you currently have. Maybe let's talk about your workforce. How many people are currently employed at the Sarova? And do we expect that some of them are already home on leave, paid or unpaid, or are they all of them reporting to work?
Well, we have about 1,300 staff.
Okay.
When we shut down, a lot of our staff, about 90% of them went home.
Yeah.
Our industries are very labor-intensive industries, so you cannot work from home. Receptionist cannot work from home, a waiter cannot work from home. But that aside, our properties were not operational, and they're still not operational, currently with the exception of Sarova Pan-Afric.
Yeah.
So for us, we have protected wages from when we started closing down, which was towards the end of March. So we've made sure we've paid salaries for the month of April, May and June. July as well, we'll make sure that our staff also have some money, because we don't want anybody to go home without anything. Because it's not just about that individual staff member, it's also about their dependents. They may have a family, children, a spouse, they may have old, parents. So we've made sure that we've protected as much as we can wages and protected jobs. So we've not laid anybody off so
which
far.
Is great stuff.
And our strategy is to continue and hold on to as many staff as we can. But of course, if the situation carries on, because right now we're in a financial crisis as an industry, we may have to take more radical decisions, because it's just not sustainable.
All right, and now we've seen the government speaking about a kitty for the hotel sector and the tourism sector in large to be able to fast track this recovery. Have you been in touch with Treasury in terms of how does this money get to you as the industry players, or what is the arrangement? What is the communication that you're getting from government right now?
I think the first thing is I'd like to appreciate His Excellency the President for giving the tourism sector a stimulus package. We were one of the first sectors that were recognized as being very hard hit, so we do appreciate that. However, we do need a lot of support to survive. We've not even got to the stage where we're even thinking about recovery. We need to survive. The modalities of the distribution of the stimulus are still being worked on by our ministry. And as soon as those are ready, I have no doubt that they will be communicated to stakeholders.
All right, and also the fact that, Jimi, we've seen a lot of hotels, and the first strategy has been to lay off workers to reduce their cost. You're taking a different route. Is this sort of to make sure that soon as the economy starts picking up, you're ready to continue operations?
Yes, but I think it's important, Jimmy, to recognize that there's no one size fits all. Different businesses have their different strategies, their different operational costs, their different commitments.
All right.
For us, we also have operational costs, and we also have commitments. But as a Kenyan company, as an indigenous Kenyan company, we have made a commitment to the Kenyans that we employ, and we have said that we will do our very best to protect your jobs and to protect your wages. But we also have had to think about the restart. Because when you restart, you need the same people who have stood by you, the same people you've trained, the same people who you want to be able to be there to welcome back our customers. So we've approached this using different strategies, but the bottom line is that we are committed to protecting those jobs and protecting wages to the best ability that we can under the circumstances.
All right, and we know that, for instance, tourism, not tourism exactly, but in terms of conferencing business has been one of the biggest revenue earners for a lot of hotels. Let's talk about that industry, that space for a minute, and the fact that 2020 has not been one of the best years in terms of conferencing businesses and activities happening in the country. So, going forward, how long do you think, in your own estimation, this will take for us to get back to that space where we have conferences being held in the country, we have enough tourists coming into the country, either for conferencing, for business, or even just for tourism on itself?
Kenya had a lot of events and conferences lined up, large conferences. All these, of course, had to be cancelled. For hotels like Sarova Hotels, we are a major player in the conference business, particularly in our property in Mombasa, Sarova White Sands. But that space has definitely changed. We've seen a lot of companies and individuals consuming a lot of virtual activity in terms of meetings. And I think that will carry on. But I also see a hybrid between virtual and actual live attendance to meetings. Because at the end of the day, technology will allow us to do that. So people who prefer to participate through virtual participation will be able to do so. The ones who are able to participate live at the conference facility will be able to do so, because all you need is large screens, high resolution screens. You need sound, you need internet. A reliable internet, and people are able to converse. Are
you scared for the business?
Well, we're not. I wouldn't say we're scared, but we have to adapt to the new realities. I think that's really where the focus must be. I don't think we have time to panic or to fear, because if we do that, then we'll not be able to save our businesses, and we must save our businesses. To predict, Jimmy, when business will come back to normal or conferencing will come back to normal is very, very difficult, because it's a moving target. As I said, I have no doubt this virus will come to an end. We will learn to live with it. But the point is, we don't know when. We don't know if a vaccine is coming out in the next 6 months, 12 months, 18 months. If the vaccine comes out, is it a reliable vaccine? Will it be widely distributed, or will it be very narrowly distributed? So there's many moving parts, so it's difficult to say. But of course, we look forward to a return. We are ready to welcome our guests back. We want to encourage them, to travel, but we also make sure that they feel safe. We want to win back their trust and confidence.
Yeah.
Want to win back the trust and confidence of our staff so that they can focus on keeping our customers happy. And we want our customers to feel safe and confident with us so that they can enjoy their stay, regardless of the purpose of their stay.
All right, now there has been a conversation online, and I'm sure this is something you might have bumped into.
Yeah.
The fact that a lot of these hotels are being blamed for sort of neglecting the Kenyan customers and just paying attention to the foreigners who are coming into the country for one purpose or the other. And for you as Sarova, gladly or luckily, you were not part of that those hotels that actually were pointed at. So maybe are there sentiments that you're sort of going to put in place and incentives to just make sure that even if it's a staycation, as they call it, Kenyans will come in and just have a good time here?
I must say that the Kenyan market has been extremely supportive of the tourism sector in the last 5 years. We've seen growth in numbers of resident travel. We've seen residents traveling more diversely than just going to the coast. Of course, Madaraka Express, the launch of that was a real game changer. And it's a great experience, getting on the train and, going down to the coast or coming off at the intermediary stops. So the domestic market has actually been a very important market for many of us, including Sarova. 65% of our business, if not more, is domestic. It's Kenyans. So whether they're coming on holiday, whether they're coming on business or conferencing, it's a very important market for us and for many others. But let's also remember that tourism is an export product. So we definitely have to export it overseas. It's like some of our other important exports like tea and coffee. They are consumed by Kenyans, but we must also export them overseas because they're export products. We need the foreign exchange. So I think things have changed. Things are not the way they used to be back in the day. I think a lot of hoteliers and a lot of staff within hotels really appreciate Kenyans coming to visit. Kenyans have the spending power. And I think this is a market that we will continue to focus on. So it will not be new for many, many players in the market. It will not be new for the Kenya Tourism Board because they have also been very, very active in that sector. So we will carry on, and also, of course, we will make sure that we reposition and create great experiences for all travelers, including Kenyans.
In every pandemic, there are opportunities. And what are some of the biggest lessons that you have learned during this pandemic, and especially for you as a hotelier?
I think for us, we've learned many lessons along the way. There's been no script, there's been no playbook. So we've also just been, trial and error and learning lessons along the way, falling down, getting up, and, making sure that, we learn from where we're coming from. I think we've seen a lot of Kenyans consuming a lot on the online space. There's been a lot of online activity. So we definitely need to come up with strategies to communicate with the market based on the digital space. So extended reality is something that we have to move into very quickly, in areas like virtual reality, making sure that we are able to give all our customers a virtual experience of every part of the hotel before they travel, at the booking stage, when they're in the hotel, and after that. So there's been learnings. I think there's also been learnings around how we can actually come together. I think we've come together very much as Kenyans. People have come together as Kenyans, people have come together as colleagues, and I think we must keep that spirit. And I think Kenyans, we are very known for keeping a very strong togetherness spirit, even though sometimes we do go off on a tangent. That's okay. We're all human beings, but there's a lot of lessons that have been learned, and there's still very many more lessons that we will learn. It's a great learning experience for all of us right now.
Let's talk about the management of a hotel, and especially in this sector that we've seen sometimes because of the low seasons, a lot of revenues are not streaming in. In terms of change of tact from a management perspective, what would be your advice?
Well, for me, I think, these are extraordinary times that we've been facing for the last 3 months or so. So in extraordinary times, you have to adapt very quickly to the new realities. So the new realities are very much around, understanding your team. Making sure that your team are with you, making sure that, you are all moving in the same direction, recognizing and appreciating them, making them feel safe, making them feel that they're in an environment where they can also thrive. I think there's also very much around your customers, making your customers also feel safe, understanding them, speaking to them, and making sure that you are developing products and packages that meet their requirements. So there's a lot of change.
Just recently, I was actually watching one of a certain documentary that was done. I think this is in the US. They're just going through different hotels and some of the sanitation plans that they have put in place, and you would find that sometimes they're not up to that standard that is expected. As Sarova or local players, what are some of the things that you are doing? Is it speaking to your managers and making sure that the hygiene standards are kept at as high as possible?
Yes, I must say, Jimmy, that for the hospitality industry in Kenya, and I'm very confident in saying this in terms of classified hotels, the standards of hygiene, sanitation and safety have always been very, very high. So a lot of the measures that we are putting in place now are to enhance those standards, because we're guided by many protocols, including our own protocols and standards. We are guided by the Public Health Act. We are guided by the Ministry of Tourism Act. So we are putting in place measures to enhance. So we are training our staff. We have invested in equipment. We bought a lot of sterilization equipment, handheld sterilization equipment for vehicles, for public areas, for guest bedrooms. We are training our staff on enhanced and deeper cleaning protocols. We have invested in high-grade, hospitality-grade cleaning detergents, PPEs, of course, and so therefore, and a lot of training and just enhancing the training and continuous training. So definitely we are prepared. We may fall down, in our industry, there's always bumps, but I think we have the ability to get up very quickly and move back to, where we were before.
One of my biggest concerns, and especially with this industry, is the fact that we've seen some hotels being run down. We've seen a number of hotels even just being auctioned. As soon as last year, we saw a number of hotels just being listed up on the dailies that they're going to be auctioned. From where you sit and having been in this industry for quite a while, what is the secret behind running a successful hotel industry and just running one of the most successful hotels in the country?
I think being renovating and motivating and training is really a choice of the business. There's no law that mandates that you must renovate. There's no law that says you must train and motivate. This is something that you have to do as a business. If you believe in your business, you believe in your team. As I said, hotels are very labor intensive. So your teams are very, very important, because without them, all you have is a building. You just have a stone, a brick building. So for us, we have continued to reinvest in our people. We've continued to reinvest in our product. And this is a decision that we have taken as a business. We do retain some savings, which is important to have savings. But because we are continuously reinvesting our profits back in the business, we are a very high cash turnover driven industry. So the last couple of years have been good years. 2016 was a good year, culminating to 2019, which was a fantastic year, as we had the results announced by our minister. So really, I think a lot of hotels did have the opportunity to renovate. Those who did not renovate, I think they have to live with that. That's their choice. Positioning yourself and making sure you're clear on your target market, talking to your target market, making sure that your product meets the expectations. So a lot of these things are through choice. And you have to be able to take the right choices and stick with those choices, commit to those choices, and get the job done. Despite what's been happening during this COVID time, we are committed to finishing off our projects. At Sarova Pan-Afric, we have a major project going on here. We are investing 1 billion shillings. We have another project going on in Sarova Mara, where we are upgrading 30 rooms. We're going to carry on with that. We've just finished Sarova White Sands, a full renovation of the property. So we are committed to continuing to upgrade our product despite the business environment, because we are in it for the long haul.
All right, so let's talk about the hotel sector for a minute, because again, this is a very capital intensive sector. What are some of the key things that I need to look at as an investor to be able to invest in the hotel sector in Kenya?
I think you need to understand, who are you targeting? Are you targeting the conference traveler? Are you targeting the leisure traveler? Are you targeting the millennials? So you've got to be quite clear who your target market is.
Okay.
It's you focus predominantly, if you apply Pareto's principle that 80% of your focus is in a specific market and 20% is in another market. You've just got to be very, very clear. As you said, it's very capital intensive. The capex that you are spending in a hotel is quite high. But it's also very a very exciting industry to be in. It's a fun industry. It's a very people driven. You meet a lot of people. You engage a lot with your customers. So really, I think it's very much about understanding what business you want to be in, which areas you want to be in, and just making sure that you're meeting that customer's need relentlessly. And that's very important, because our industry is also very much an industry about trust and confidence. People associate hospitality with fun and luxury and enjoyment and great food and a great swimming pool and the likes. So really, if you're able to understand your market, carve out your market, meet their needs consistently, position yourself and differentiate yourself, I think this is a great industry to invest in.
All right, let's talk about customer centricity for a minute. And we know that this is one of the sectors that the customer basically is king. And we some of the services that you get in a number of hotels across the country are not up to the standard that you would expect. How important for you is customer centricity? How important is it that the customer gets that satisfaction of going out?
I think it's very, very important because, your customer is who we are doing all our work for. We put all our efforts as a team to make sure that we meet our customers' requirements, that we're able to meet and make a promise and deliver on that promise. So, being customer centric is very, very important. Understanding, once upon a time it was very much around, I will develop this product and I'll force it upon my customer. Now it's the other way around. Your customer is not interested in what you're forcing upon them. They're interested in hearing what you are doing to meet their needs. So it's very, very important being customer centric, making sure that your marketing activities are driven by research and data, making sure that your operational activities as well are driven by research and data that's generated through marketing. So really, when it comes to being customer centric, it's absolutely essential for your business, and it's going to become a lot more as we move forward, and the demographic of the traveler changes, and it truly is changing, and very rapidly.
When you look at the Kenyan market, there's a lot of young people basically just getting into this hotel industry. And for you, as someone who's been in the industry raising all the way to now the managing director for Sarova Hotels, and what has been your secret to success? And again, you put in the time, you put in all those years just trying to make sure that you have a very decorated career. So for you, what are some of the things that you would say, this and this and this is what got me here?
I think it's you can't get away from hard work. You have to work hard. It pays. It's difficult, but no pain, no gain. So you've had to work hard. I've had a culture of, I'm a very early starter. I start very early in the morning. I get up at 5 in the morning and I come to work by 7. So I think that's important for me to be able to sort of prepare myself for the day. I think having integrity is also very, very important, and I really encourage the younger generation. I have kids myself. That integrity is key. If anything else, have integrity. All the other qualities will find their way to you. So hard work, having integrity, listening, also engaging with others who've been in the industry. There's several other hoteliers who are also very, very experienced. So talking to them, learning, their successes and also their mistakes. And just being really committed to the industry. And, I really enjoy what I do. I enjoy the industry. I enjoy the people I work with. I think I've got a lot of attention to detail. I think I'm a believer in it actually, it's more important to get things right the first time. So you're not wasting time, repeating what you could have done well the first time. If you can do it today, why do it tomorrow? So I think I enjoy it, but I think hard work is something that you just cannot get away from.
So for you, what is the one thing that you think or you wish you had learned earlier about this industry?
I think from this industry, I think one thing I learned is I think the fact that it's very highly capital intensive, in terms of,
Okay.
you have a lot of dreams. Many of those dreams you can't achieve because there are other priorities. And really prioritizing, financial commitments for the business is something that, I've learned in the last 10 years or so, and I've been in this business for 28 years. So it's something that I wish maybe I would have taken more attention to, but I'm happy where I am now, and I'm able to understand and able to prioritize and not let unnecessary dreams and expenses that are not going to add value to the customer or to your staff drive me away from the business.
All right. What is the next phase for Sarova? We're seeing already there's a construction going on, but what is the next phase? Are we likely to see maybe in the future getting Sarova listed at the NSE or somewhere else?
Well, everything and everything is on the table. For us, really our priority right now is to consolidate and make sure that we bring all our properties up to one standard. So we are carrying out this phased renovation of all our properties. We are also looking to expand our footprint in Kenya. And also within the region, so we're looking at that so growth is definitely on the table as well. Management contracts, potential partnerships, and yes, who knows? We could be heading to the boss one day soon.
And definitely we'll be looking for you around that time.
Asante.
Now, finally, as we wind up, for an SME or a startup that wants to get into this industry, they build up a small place that they want to make sure, or their hope is that it gets to grow eventually. What is your advice to them?
Just once again, make sure that you maintain very high standards. Make sure that you build your reputation. It takes a long time. We in Sarova have been around since 1974. We started off with a 94-bedroom hotel. Today we have about 1,300 rooms. So really it takes time. If you're really committed to it, don't give up. Make sure that you maintain standards, make sure you build your reputation, make sure you give your staff confidence in you, make sure you give your customers confidence in you, because if somebody trusts you, they will use you. If they don't trust you, they won't, and they won't say very nice things about you, especially when you have the likes of TripAdvisor, which a lot of people use today when shopping for hotel accommodation and restaurants and the likes.
All right, indeed. Thank you very much, Jimi, and thank you for taking the time. You have been watching the Business Hour. My name is Jimi Mbogo, and remember, every hour is Business Hour.